guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Lilli. Yes, it is doctor now. I'm doing mindset and relationship coaching, and today we're talking about how to make breakups hurt less. So a quick note before we get into it, part of the reason why I got into this field and why I became a doctor and why I'm doing this kind of coaching is because I've seen what breakups and loss of love can do to a person, starting with myself. Like, I have been through really tough breakups, especially the first one that I ever went through, because that's always the hardest, right? When it's a real relationship. And that kind of catalyzed this whole journey and pathway that I've come down, going to naturopathic medical school. And then also while in school, in the clinic, I saw patients that would come in and all of their symptoms started after a bad relationship. And not just like fresh out of a breakup, like some of these were years ago, where that's when their health started to decline. That's when their physical and mental health started to decline. And then I also saw patients where they were going through an acute breakup or a betrayal, or like sometimes the breakup was because of, you know, a like cheating or a significant something that they didn't know was happening, and that led to a slew of mental, emotional concerns, and then sometimes even physical concerns. And if these things aren't addressed in the acute stage, then it can lead to prolonged turmoil and physical symptoms because of the prolonged and significant nature of the pain and the trauma. That's just a little bit of background on that. I'll get into the actual video. And also, I'm sure you all know, like, when you're going through a breakup, sometimes you can't eat, you can't sleep, like you feel horrible, both physically, and you have anxiety or depression. And, you know, maybe they're acute, like you just feel more on edge and you feel super sad and like grief and depressed, even if it's not full on major depressive disorder or a generalized anxiety. It affects your whole system. And so that's why this is so important. But right now we're gonna focus on how to make breakups hurt less from a more mental, emotional standpoint. So thank you for sticking through that long intro. Now let's get into it. So the technique we're gonna talk about today is called cognitive reframing. And cognitive reframing is when you look at a situation from another perspective through a different lens in order to change the way that you feel about it. You can use this technique with absolutely anything, but it works really well for breakups because a lot of times when you're going through a breakup, you're replaying things over and over in your mind. You're like, why is this happening? You're trying to figure out what went wrong. You're trying to figure out how can I make it better? How can I get them back? And you're also taking what happened, taking the relationship and everything that led down to its breakdown, and you're putting it on yourself. And so what we need to do is we need to see, or sometimes you're even thinking like, why didn't I see this coming? Like, how can I make them love me? How can I make them choose me? Like, what is wrong with me? Or like, I wasted so much time, or, you know, all of these things, all of these thoughts that are coming up, and they're not always helpful. Or sometimes it's just like you're heartbroken and you're crushed. And so how do we shift our perspective in order to not be so taken down by the situation, taken down by the relationship? Because it is possible, this is also important, as a healthy and secure person, it is possible to go through a breakup and not feel like it's the end of the world, not feel like you're completely worthless or that you just weren't enough, and you don't have to feel completely crushed and anxious and all of those big emotions and feelings that come up. When you have a very healthy, secure, confident mindset, both in your head and you like feel it physically, like you just know it as a person, like that is like you just embody it, is what I'm trying to say. When you have all of that, yeah, the breakup can still hurt. It can still be sad and disappointing and can kind of suck, but at the same time, you know that it's not the end of the world. You know that you still have worth, and you know that just because one thing ended doesn't mean that the whole world is going to end and that you're going to be alone forever. Even if you were alone forever, you wouldn't think that that's the end of the world too. So we're going to shift everything in order to handle these breakups with confidence and feel a lot better about it. And I also know that this is possible because I've done it myself, and honestly, handling the ending was just so much easier when you have this kind of mentality. And so what it is we can have this breakup and we can still have appreciation for what happened, what took place, right? So the cognitive reframe is we're going to look back at the relationship, look at the whole situation and see, like, look at the lessons that we got from it. Look at what can we take from this experience that is good for us. What did we get that was positive for ourselves instead of just focusing on the negative? So what lessons did we learn? What like amazing times did we have? Because yeah, maybe it ended, but you still had great memories. You still had a fun time. You don't have to remember the relationship as a negative because there were so many beautiful parts to it. And just because it's not happening for you, just because it may never happen for you with that person, it doesn't mean it was all the waste. So look back and see, what is it that I valued from it? What did I get from it? What was supportive? Like all of these things, this is part of your life. And so those are your real memories and that's part of your past. So it's okay to still have those good times and look at them fondly and appreciate them for what they were. And I know this can be so hard to do in the moment because look at this person, they were a great person, you got along really well with them, and maybe it's really hard for you to think about not having them in your life anymore. But also think about how cool it was that you did get to have them in your life. How amazing that you got to experience that part of your life with them, that you got to spend that time with them. How great that you got to have that friendship, that relationship that was there. Underneath it all, they were there for you in certain times, and I'm sure you were there for them in times. And all of that is still meaningful. The breakup doesn't take away anything from those memories. They are a whole human being. They're on this earth for a reason. And it's pretty amazing that you got to experience that time with them. So instead of dwelling in the sadness, what did you learn from it? What lessons did you learn from the experience? How can you take those lessons and do better in the future? What did you learn about yourself in this instance? There's so much that you can take away from this relationship that is more than just the person, the partnership. It's a whole experience. So find the things that are beneficial to you and cherish those. Instead of dwelling in the sadness, you can also take it as a lesson, a positive lesson from God or the universe showing you what is possible, the kind of love that you can have, the thing that is out there that you want. And just imagine how much more is out there when you find the person that you want and they want and you just want to spend forever with. Like if you can love this one person that much, imagine how much you will love the person that is truly meant for you. A lot of us get stuck in this scarcity mindset that there's going to be nobody else like them in the world, and like you're just not going to find another match, you're not going to find any other person. But it's not true a lot of the time. Like there's going to be another person that you have interest in, and the fact that you've probably liked someone in the past, that is proof right there that there's going to be somebody else that you like too. And you are going to have another kind of connection. It's not going to be the exact same because it's a different person, but you can still have an amazing connection with someone else. And there's so many more people than you probably realize that are very similar to this person that you've just broken up with. Write out the lessons that you learned. Write out the things that you want to take into the next relationship, or kind of what you want to do differently. Write down what you learned about yourself too. And also, remember, take this gratitude into the next relationship as well, because you never know when something is going to happen. If you have the gratitude and the appreciation now and take that into the next one, you will appreciate every single moment even more. And it doesn't mean get stuck in the fear of, oh, what if they leave me? But just being present and also knowing that, hey, I will be okay even if this ends. That is the most important thing, is that you will always be okay no matter who you are with, if you are alone or if you're with somebody else, because you always have you. And that's a really, really important lesson to know. Not everyone is going to be for you, and that is 100% okay. And as long as you have you, you're going to be fine. And then other steps that you can take to heal and move on from the breakup is to give yourself the things that you need, the things that you got from the relationship that you no longer have because you're not with a partner. So if that's a date night, take yourself on a date night. If it's flowers, get yourself flowers. If it's like physical touch, cuddle with your friends, you know, give hugs to other people, give hugs to strangers that are consenting. But there are other ways, and I'm not saying, like, for example, with the physical stuff, I'm not saying go sleep around, because that's going to just mask the symptoms, that's going to mask the pain, right? And we want to approach this in a healthy, secure way. So just find the things that are going to work for you that are healthy and secure. Because while a relationship is wonderful, you are everything that you need. And if that is difficult for you to see, then we have something to talk about. My name is Dr. Lilli. I'm a mindset and relationship coach. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I will be posting more and more videos here talking all about relationships, mindset, and really loving yourself and having true, authentic confidence. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.